Did we finally get a break in the Havana Syndrome case? Well, let's talk about that and more. It's time for another UFO News Roundup, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here's what Lou had to say not too long ago about Havana Syndrome.
There's some very interesting peculiarities. I am not qualified to discuss the nuances of Havana syndrome. I think we are still trying to figure that out. Um, that's all I can say.
That's all he could say. He has said also in another occasion that it wasn't directly related to UAP, but there were some interesting things there. So I think this is, possibly germane to a discussion on UAP. So let's get into what's going on. Unraveling Havana Syndrome. New evidence links the GRU's assassination unit 29155 to mysterious attacks on U.S. officials and their families. A year-long investigation by The Insider in collaboration with 60 Minutes and Der Spiegel has uncovered evidence suggesting that unexplained anomalous health incidents, also known as Havana Syndrome, may have their origin in the use of directed energy weapons wielded by members of Russian GRU Unit 29155, members of the Kremlin's infamous military intelligence sabotage squad, have been placed at the scene of suspected attacks on overseas U.S. government personnel and their family members, leading victims to question what Washington knows about the origins of Havana Syndrome and what an appropriate Western response might entail. And I'm not going to go over it all, but you can watch the full 60 Minutes piece or read all the articles about it. There seems to be a link between this Russian hit squad, for lack of a better word, and Havana Syndrome attacks. So are they responsible for it? Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. Why is it interesting? Because they are not the only ones that seem to use directed energy weapons. Amy Eskridge, and if you don't know Amy Eskridge, Amy Eskridge, NASA anti-gravity propulsion research scientist, allegedly suicided after presenting an anti-gravity propulsion paper to NASA. And, you may be familiar with Amy Eskridge, a very sad, very tragic case. I have grave doubts about whether she actually committed suicide or not. But here she is talking about directed energy weapons being used against her.
With this window right here to my right, and that window door right there to my left, and my hands have been burned to hell and back as I've been typing, because you can beam me through there and through there, and you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing. Because this computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. You can't hack it, but you can maybe get a 3D image of me typing. So we just did that and did that as an act of pure desperation. And guess what? I feel better immediately.
She feels better after blocking up the entrances through which these directed energy weapons might have been used against her. And as you can see, her hand is burned. I think you can see that very clearly.
Fucking shit.
Let me go back to that where you can see her hand. Yeah, you can see how red it is, and there's a line where her wrist is very pale and then her hand is very red. And she believed this was because of a directed energy weapon being used against her. And, it's entirely likely that she was not, that she did not commit suicide, that something else happened. And that it was the same people, responsible for that were using directed energy weapons against her, if that's what happened. So was that Russia? I don't think that was Russia. Russia gets used as a scapegoat a lot. It really does. Of course, Russia is also pretty nefarious, so, there is that. But I don't think it was Russia in this case. Now, with the Russian hit squad, absolutely, I buy that there's a Russian hit squad that has directed energy weapon capability and that they have been using this against people. But I don't think they're the only ones that use this stuff. Ross Coldart has a tweet. Havana Syndrome parallels dismissed evidence in UFO investigation sparks need for independent inquiry. And he directs us to this article from Liberation Times by Chris Sharp, of course. Liberation Times has learned that evidence pointing to the advanced nature of certain craft believed to be of non-human origin is being disregarded by the U.S. government's UAP office known as the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Sources speaking to Liberation Times have expressed concern over the similarities between the government's investigations into UAP and anomalous health incidents also known as Havana Syndrome. The incidents have seen hundreds of U.S. government and military officials serving abroad report strange, unexplained, debilitating symptoms, which have also affected family members and pets. In 2023, a U.S. intelligence assessment of anomalous health incidents stated, most intelligence community agencies have concluded that it is very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible. It found no credible evidence that any American foe possessed a weapon or collection device, including an emitter of electromagnetic energy pulses, that could cause the symptoms. However, recent reports suggest that evidence indicating such incidents as potential attacks from a foreign power employing radio frequency microwave devices was either disregarded or unjustly dismissed as unreliable. A forthcoming investigation, is already out. Sources confide in Liberation Times that evidence indicating foreign adversary attacks on government officials has been suppressed by the intelligence community. This suppression is purportedly aimed at safeguarding intelligence collection methods and averting potential escalation with a foreign power, as such attacks could be construed as an act of war. Yeah, it is pretty much an act of war. You're attacking people, right? Attorney Mark Zaid, who represents dozens of sufferers, told Spy Talk that the government is completely lying regarding its knowledge of radio frequency microwave weapons development. Yeah, it's shocking the government would lie about something. I'm shocked. Are you shocked? Anyway, so there you go. This Russian hit squad has this technology, and they have likely been using it against people. However, I'm not convinced that explains the totality of these incidents. But let me know what you think in the comments below. In completely unrelated news, on a lighter note, Chris Bledsoe posted a new UFO video for us. This one's kind of cool because it's 3 UFOs moving as a triangular formation. And you can see the triangle right there that these UFOs are making. And okay, let's go to the audio.
I see the other one, number 3 there, in the shape of a triangle. See that one fading now? Now maybe this one will brighten for us, if it be your will. This thought is it stationary now?
Says he's looking at that one. Go back to the triangle, Chris. Go back to the triangle. He got distracted by that one. Okay. Well, anyway, there was a triangle. Oh, there we go. Okay. Still going, maybe. Anyway, cool UFO sighting by Chris Bledsoe. Speaking of Lou Elizondo, he's updated his website, and now you can sign up for disclosure updates directly from Lou via this official channel. You can also explore projects, understand his mission statement, explore his bio and history. Yeah, so check it out. So Lou is ramping up, I guess, for his book release coming in the near future. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthart did a recent special on MH370. And part of that special was interviewing Larry Vance to get his take on it, which is, the conventional take that, it was a murder-suicide. The pilot, took everybody with him. And here's Ross's thoughts.
I've long thought that the explanation that you give for the crash of MH370, the loss of MH370, is the most plausible in the...
Yeah, so there you go. Ross seems to be siding with Larry about the reason for MH370 disappearing. And, he could be totally right. I don't know. But I still think people are focused on the wrong thing with MH370. We still don't have any explanation for the classified information. There was the satellite video, and in that video was classified information. It was declassified not long after that video was released or leaked. So there could have been somebody in that chain of declassification that leaked it, or something like that. Who knows? But since there was that classified information, it's hard to say that that video is bogus exactly. It's not just some random hoaxer. In other words, it's clearly either legit or it's disinformation from somebody on the inside that had access to that classified information. I mean, there's like no two ways about it because of that classified information. As far as I can tell, if you can see another angle, let me know. But Ross siding with, this theory of the murder-suicide, that's obviously that's fine. But I think that's, leaving out a huge part of the story. And, until you're going to address that and focus on that and answer that, it's hard to, really come up with a prosaic explanation for this. Because if it was a murder-suicide, then why was this video fabricated, if that's what happened, using this classified information? That doesn't make any sense to me. So it would either have to be, a fabrication designed to hide some sort of skullduggery, like shooting the plane down, which is what one of the remote viewers seemed to see, or else it was a genuinely anomalous event. So, I think it's unfortunate that Ross is, siding with this murder-suicide theory without first addressing that very important question. Meanwhile, I haven't done a ghost video in a while, so check this out. What is this thing? What is that crazy thing? I mean, that's a ghost, guys. That's a ghost. I mean, a video artifact, maybe, but I'm not buying that. I think that's a ghost. I think that's a pretty great capture. But let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, I just ran across William Shatner's thoughts upon returning to Earth from space. And I thought this was interesting. I hadn't read this before. I don't know if you've come across it before or not, but he said, "Last year I had a life-changing experience at 90 years old. I went to space after decades of playing an iconic science fiction character who was exploring the universe. I thought I would experience a deep connection with the immensity around us, a deep call for endless exploration. I was absolutely wrong. The strongest feeling that dominated everything else by far was the deepest grief that I had ever experienced. I understood in the clearest possible way that we were living on a tiny oasis of life, surrounded by an immensity of death. I didn't see infinite possibilities of worlds to explore, of adventures to have, or living creatures to connect with. I saw the deepest darkness I could ever imagine. Contrasting so starkly with the welcoming warmth of our nurturing home planet. This was an immensely powerful awakening for me. It filled me with sadness. I realized that we had spent decades, if not centuries, being obsessed with looking away, with looking outside. I did my share in popularizing the idea that space was the final frontier, but I had to get to space to understand that Earth is and will stay our home, and that we have been ravaging it relentlessly, making it uninhabitable. So yeah, that was William Shatner's take. And, my take on his take is that, he's right and he's wrong. Absolutely, we need to cherish planet Earth and treat planet Earth better, because for the foreseeable future, this is our only home, and it's just a beautiful, lovely place with an immensity of life, and we need to take good care of it. But on the other hand, to survive long term, humanity does need to go beyond Earth. So we need to find a way to do that. And that is why, faster than light travel and stuff like that apparently has already been reverse engineered or duplicated from the beings is so important. And, or coming up with it ourselves. It'd be great if we could come up with it ourselves. But he's right in that, there is a lot of it's a void, right? It's a void. It's not like a super friendly to life. The planets in our solar system aren't super friendly to life, at least of our type. So there needs to be some other mechanism to reach planets that are friendly to life. So there needs to be a drive to that, and I think there is. Maybe we could drive faster, especially if we could have UFO disclosure and release some of this technology, at least to people that could develop it. I would love my own UFO, but there may be a practical reason why they don't want everybody to have a UFO. That's lame. That's lame. But hey, I kind of get it, I guess. I can kind of see how that would destabilize the world if everybody had a UFO, although that'd be pretty cool. But, at the very least, humanity should have access to this technology and, et cetera, et cetera. So, we do need to get off world at some point. But we also need to take better care of the world as well. At least that's my take, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, MacMave Studios has released a really nice recreation of Area 51 and the UFO that Bob Lazar worked on and saw fly. Check this out. This is really cool. That's Bob on his rocket car. I love it. I want a rocket car. Don't you want a rocket car? That'd be badass. Okay, skipping ahead. Here's the hangar. I guess at S4, where you can see the camouflaged hangar. And I guess this is based on Bob's descriptions. And there is the UFO. Is that the sport model? I assume this is the UFO that he worked on, that they were taking for a test drive. And that's why he was allowed to watch it. But yeah, look at that beautiful, perfect flying saucer. That is nice. That is nice. Some good work there. Some good work. All right, let's see. Here's the Army guys, and that's what it looks like on the inside. Really cool what it looks like on the inside. I don't think he ever saw the top level. I think that was off limits, the upper level. But yeah, there's a tour. There's the anti-gravity nodes or whatever. The things that were working with the gravity. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's move to the. There we go. There we go. We got a UFO flying. We have an alien craft that has been worked on by our guys and gotten to fly. Now, I think they may have taken some licenses with some dramatic licenses with this. I'm not sure if it was ever able to do all of these fancy maneuvers or not. I'm trying to remember from my Bob Lazar. And it seemed like they were just kind of hovered and moved around a little bit. I don't know if they were able to do anything fancy. But it's been a while since I've studied my Bob, so you guys let me know if I'm getting that wrong. But yeah, that's pretty cool, guys. That is pretty neat. Some great animation. I'm really looking forward to that VR experience. Bob's been working with some guys on this VR experience where you'll be able to go virtually into the ship itself and actually walk the corridors of S4. That's going to be pretty cool, guys. That's going to be pretty neat. Of course, that was just a nuts and bolts craft. But there's also the idea that some of these craft come from other dimensions and they simply materialize into this plane of existence. Was that craft that we just saw that Bob worked on, did it come from another dimension? Did it materialize in this realm, or is it simply a physical nuts and bolts craft from our reality? Or there's another idea that objects will use other dimensions as a way to get from A to B. They may come from the other side of the galaxy or a different galaxy, but they will pop into other dimensions and then pop out at their destination. And that's how they're able to, achieve faster than light speeds, and they can get from A to B very quickly. And that may be why there's so much poltergeist activity associated with some contact events. They go through these etheric realms, these spiritual realms, consciousness realms, whatever you want to call them, these metaphysical realms, and things may glom onto them as they pass through. That's one idea explaining the poltergeist activity associated with some contact experiences. For example, in the Las Vegas case. But Meade Lane was talking about, back in the day, Meade Lane, and I've talked about him before, was talking about etheric UFOs. He says the aeriforms are thought constructs, mind constructs. As such, they are in effect the vehicle of the actual entity who creates them. And that's interesting because many experiencers will talk about how the craft themselves are alive, and that the pilot is simply interacting with the consciousness that already inhabits the craft. It's kind of a merging of two consciousnesses piloting the craft. Maybe that's why they crash so often. I don't know. I don't know how these things work, guys, but that is what many experiencers report. Meade Lane says, just as our own terrestrial minds rule and become identified with our bodies, so does the entity of the etheric world make for himself a body or vehicle out of etheric substance. And that may explain some UFO events. I don't know. And to see a scan of the first issue of Meade Lane's BSRA Round Robin Journal, go here. All right, let's go here. You can read what Meade Lane was writing in 1945. It is really interesting stuff. I mean, it's definitely more on the woo-woo end, but that's where I think a lot of this goes. So I think this is really fascinating stuff. And he talks about the vitality globules. I guess that's like orbs or spiritons. So definitely he's leaning in a more etheric, metaphysical direction for these contact experiences, or at least the ones that he's talking about. So a really interesting read, and I'll link to it in the comments below or the description below. Then you can read it at your leisure. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider becoming a channel member, because channel members are, of course, rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.